Welcome to the Wells Fargo Center. In the city of brotherly love of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, we find ourselves watching the Broad Street Bullies, the Philadelphia Flyers. As this is the 40th stadium review on the channel and will be the last hockey one until the fall. And of course, it's brought to you in partnership with Pull Tab Sports. Check them out at pulltabsports.com for a bunch of content on sports and culture. And while you're at it, be sure to give all their social media accounts a follow as well, to show them our appreciation for making all these videos possible. The stadium lies just south of downtown Philly in the South Philadelphia Sports Complex, which includes the Philly Citizen Bank Park, which opened in 2004, the Eagles Lincoln Financial Field, which opened in 2003, and the Wells Fargo Center, which opened in 1996 as Core State Center, and currently hosts the Flyers, the 76ers, the Wings, and some of the Villanova Wildcats basketball games. Driving on I-95 at the Delaware Expressway gives you this fantastic view of all three stadiums and downtown Philadelphia all at once. Driving into the complex, you're greeted with this huge sign as there's tons of parking all around. But if you live downtown and don't want to drive, there is a metro station right here outside the stadiums. It is actually pretty surprising to see some people actually outside tailgating for the game. This was in late March, so the weather was a little bit nicer for it on that weekend. And once again, I absolutely love walking through the parking lot and being at three really world-class venues all at once, with the backdrop of the city skyline. We hit up Xfinity Live before the game, which is a really cool central hub between all these stadiums, as they had some fantastic pre-game atmosphere there, and they also host a ton of watch parties for different games throughout the year, as they have a ton of really good bars and restaurants to choose from, and a lot of them actually include some outside seating options, which were pretty popular on this warmer spring day. Making our way over towards the stadium now, I was really impressed with the exterior, especially here on this north side, as the giant curved bowl and also all these office buildings here really tower over you. And overall, the exterior really had a nice, sleek, modern aesthetic look to it. It's actually pretty funny going by the pro shop with this little jutted out circle area here, because they had all the gear flipped over from the 76ers to the Flyers for the games, but you could see all the Sixers gear through the windows. And of course, had to enter the building through the Broad Street entrance. Heading into the arena now and onto the main level concourse, we were immediately met with a team shop. And look at this amazing deal they're running today, 50% off jerseys. No, Spencer, no, talk yourself down. You don't need another jersey. You already have a Jakub Voracek jersey. And to take a quote that my friend Tucker said once after surgery, I don't even like the Flyers. So as hard as it was to pass up that deal on all the gritties, we're just gonna settle for a puck. The main level concourse had this really large atrium area where we first came in, and this being a day game, there was a lot of natural light coming in from outside. Making our way around the lower level concourse, I really enjoyed the aesthetic going across the ceiling, as it would just have a black ceiling with some black pipes, but the dark brown wood beams going across really add a great touch to make it look like a modern venue. And contrasting that with the crisp white floor and the white ring going around the wall made for a really cool aesthetic. Throughout the lower level, there were some different jutted out areas that had some specialty restaurants and bars, and several of them had their own unique themes and decorations. I also really loved the entrances into the seating bowl itself, as they had really cool black bricks lining the way. They also did a really good job honoring some of the history of the franchise. I was a big fan of this hat trick history wall, listing all the hat tricks that the team has had as they all played on a video loop. A small tucked away Hall of Fame display case really highlighted some of the icons throughout the team, as they had busts of the players as well as some mini statues of them. But my favorite historical nod had to have been all the historical black and white photos going around the rim of the lower level concourse, as this was an awesome subtle touch, but also focuses on the city as a whole. Heading upstairs now, we really got a good view into the private areas in between the lower level and the upper level, as the club level concourse looks out over that large atrium area, as there's an additional private suites area above it. But of course, I don't have access to those areas. But from those upper levels, we have a really good view down to some of those open lower level areas, as there's more than just one of these throughout the arena. There were some cool decorations and such throughout the upper level concourse, but it was pretty similar to the lower level one, just a little bit smaller and closed in. They did have some really cool games though scattered throughout the concourse, like bubble hockey and also a basketball shooting game. I loved how the bubble hockey teams always had the Flyers versus a different team, as we searched around the arena looking at all the different teams they had. But for the basketball shot, you're always playing as the 76ers. I think a massive missed opportunity on this upper concourse level is not having a view out to the city skyline. The south end of the arena has some giant open glass spots that let you see out to Lincoln Financial Field and the highway just south of the stadium. But there's nothing comparable on the north side where the city actually is. We would actually have a cool view. But there were some cool open areas that let you go straight from the concourse to the seating bowl. Let's check out some of that food. And I know what you're thinking. Come on, Spencer, let's see that Philly cheesesteak. And I really hate to disappoint you, but we actually got cheesesteaks at one of my friend's favorite places out in the suburbs before the game. And 2 cheesesteaks in one day sounds like a horrible idea. One of my friends got a hot dog, and I kept seeing these giant pizzas scattered around the arena that were absolutely massive. So I had to snag one of those. And just look at how big it was. Another big Philly staple are these crab fries that are served with a cheese dipping sauce. My friend got some of those, and they were pretty good as well. But the crown jewel food item that we got were these amazing milkshakes. And of course, I had to go with the birthday cake one with sprinkles on it. It was absolutely massive, as you get a milkshake in a mug with an entire slice of cake on top of it. And how did I eat this at my seat? I really can't tell you the answer to that. It was not an easy task at all. And I don't even think I could finish it because I was on such a sugar rush. This was probably way too much sugar for myself. Moving into the seating pool now, which holds 20,306 for ice hockey, and also holds 21,000 for basketball games, as the Flyers and the 76ers have shared this building since 1996. When initially getting my seat, the first thing that I noticed is that all the drink holders are on the armrest, and it kind of makes you a little crammed if you have a drink with you. As for layout, 3 main levels go all the way around the stadium. I found it really interesting that the PA announcers don't sit up in the press box, but rather sit in the lower level seating bowl. But that does give them the opportunity to interact with fans and Gritty a little bit more. Suites and club levels are sandwiched in between the 2 main upper levels and provide a slew of different amenities. And like we showed from the concourse, there are some open areas in the upper seating level that let you look straight from the concourse to the ice. And high up above the seating bowl are more private seating options as well as the press box. I found the scoreboard to be really interesting as it's a really large display and is also curved on the 2 larger sides. The rafters are packed with banners honoring the 76ers and the Flyers' accomplishments throughout their histories. I also didn't realize that Philadelphia was such big fans of Bruce Springsteen, as he's had 67 sellouts since the building opened less than 30 years ago. I also noticed this pretty cool area at the top of the seating bowl, which looked like it was open to just anyone, so let's go check it out. So this is in the upper level, high up above the nets, and you can access this section by going through the upper level seats. As we enter this really cool bar area, it wasn't really staffed with anyone at the time, but there were a few other people hanging out in there. Some different jutouts and locations give you a great view down below to the ice, as I'm sure this is probably used as ADA seating during a lot of events. And while I was up here, I realized that this area has a twin on the other side of the arena as well. It is pretty steep up here, but you get some great views down below and some great photo opportunities.
3, 2,
The atmosphere got kicked off with a hype video that was probably a little too long and overkill, but had some good gritty action. Graphics on the ice are becoming a bigger and bigger thing in the NHL in their pregame videos, and Philly did a really good job with it.
I want us to be a hard team. I want us to be respected each and every night. Please welcome your Philadelphia Flyers!
I wonder if it's odd for the players to have to skate over their own faces. I'd be kinda hesitant to do that, but I'm sure as the visiting team you have no problem running them over with your skate blades. And we're underway. Pretty good view from our seats up in the upper deck down to the ice below. And of course, we're all about those gritty appearances.
Look at that booty!
The Hurricanes scored first, grabbing a 2-0 lead, and this is a very uniquely Philly thing, but when the other team scores, they just decide to drown it out with boos to show their displeasure with their team. The first intermission had a bunch of little kids skating around, and I ran into Skinny Gritty on the Concourse. That's definitely an interesting outfit. At the start of the second period, I realized that these long panels actually move up and down, but during the period itself, they make their way on top of the main video boards.
There he goes. That is awesome.
The Flyers finally got on the board in the second period to make it 2-1. But a few moments later, Philly fans were back to booing at a missed call.
I think that was the right call. I think no call was the right call. They just don't like that it happened. Yeah.
But they weren't booing after this power play. During second intermission, I enjoyed this really cool promo tradition with Coors Light beer, as when the Zamboni passes down the center of the ice, they have this big display of Philadelphia.
Because only a beer is called the Rockies, it's Philadelphia, it's a Philadelphia.
And I found where our dude Skinny Gritty was sitting. While I do think this is kind of an odd concept and that he's trying to steal the thunder from the mascot himself, he is gonna get my Fan of the Game award just because he's putting in that extra effort trying to get everyone hyped and trying to get everyone going. Later on in the third period, the Flyers took the lead and the crowd was absolutely buzzing.
Nice mistake, Sam! Oh, he's a Sam!
As a team that really hasn't had too much to cheer for this year, the fans were all really into the game, especially with the prospect of beating a top team like Carolina. However, they weren't able to capitalize on an empty net opportunity.
Last minute of play in the third period.
Oh, good block!
And this holding call in the neutral zone with only 7 seconds left set up the Hurricanes to try to get an equalizer. But after video review, the call stood, as the puck crossed the line with 0.3 seconds left on the clock. And we're headed to overtime. Sebastian Aho won the game for the Canes only 30 seconds into overtime, as that got him a hat trick, and I honestly wasn't too upset with that since he was on my fantasy hockey team. But needless to say, the crowd was extremely displeased.
I do like Sebastian Aho.
But leaving the arena, we had a fantastic look at the skyline lit up as it's starting to get dark. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, since we've got a lot more videos coming out soon. And I'll see you very soon in another video. Thanks, bye.